Hey everybody, hope you're all doing good today. Today's YouTube segment, I'm going to give you all a little bit of a history lesson on jerkbait fishing, old school style, up to the point where it is right now today. And I think a lot of people that have started out fishing, maybe they've only been fishing for the past decade or so, they don't really have, the information or knowledge to know how it got to the point where it's at right now. But it used to not to be, the thing about it, jerkbait fishing was not like it is today. It was a niche deal. It was something that was like, there was like a real small window of time in a real small part of the country that it was known for, and it didn't really get out, big time until 10 or 15 years ago at the most. And I was real fortunate because I had a chance to be part of that groundbreaking, the pioneer era of jerkbait fishing. And I was in a bass club called Big Mo Bass Club in Joplin, Missouri back in the late 70s, mid-late 70s. And this is back before jerkbait fishing was what people see it as jerkbait fishing. There was some old dudes in our club that had developed a system of taking these spoonbill rebels, like here, which was a striper lure, and figured out how to weight them. This bait here is probably 40 years old itself, one of my originals. Weighted them with lead on there, and figured out that during the pre-spawn, like down at Table Rock and Bull Shoals and these Ozark lakes, they could reel these things down next to those standing timbers, suspended, and suspend these things around timber and catch some really big bass. And I was fortunate enough to get in the boat and learn from these old dudes that had developed this technique. And once I caught on to it and figured it out, even out of my little 16-foot flat bottom boat with a 9-horse motor on it, there was rarely a trip that I would go to Table Rock Lake for about a 2 or 3 year period where I did not catch a 7 to 9 pounder this time of year, which you can't do that now. So those days are gone. But this was the deal on it. The Spoonbill Rebel, it's such a departure from what we have now. But this bait's super hard to cast. There's no weight in it. It floats up like a cork. That's why you have to put weight on it. And we'd fish this thing on like 15 pound monofilament, and you couldn't cast it very far at all. So the efficiency was not near as what it is today with jerkbait fishing. And this was a secret, a big secret around this part of the country. Nobody fished it anywhere else. It was not known on the tournament circuit. That maybe there was a few guys maybe in Texas using them later on, down at Rayburn, but it wasn't known. It was like just wasn't a factor in tournaments really. And about during the mid-'80s, it gave way. The Spoonbill Rebel sort of died out a little bit, and the Smithwick Rogue sort of took over. And the reason the Rogue had taken over is because people had figured out how to weight these things. There was more color options, and the profile of the bait was just a little bit more realistic. So you can sort of see the difference in the two here, as far as how they look on there. It's just sort of the next level step up. And the Smithwick Rogue was a staple jerkbait up until the late 90s. This is what everybody fished, and still it hadn't caught on. It was like, there was a few guys using them on the circuit, but not very many. It was known as nothing but, like a pre-spawn lure, very limited in its application. But it stayed, and it was a mainstay for like 15 years because people had figured out how to weight them. They were custom coloring the thing, making super cool paint jobs on it. And it stayed like that up until the late 1990s when Megabass came out with the 110 line. And I had the opportunity to help Megabass design the 110 back in that time period, using a lot of the information that I'd gathered with the Rogues. We worked on it, came up with the Yuki Ito designed the 110, which was it was basically the next generation jerkbait. It wanted to take that technique, refine it and modify it. And what you have now is, as a result of the technology that Megabass has on the 110 line, it has had a completely, there's so many different offshoots of different styles and types of jerkbaits to meet different applications. And it's taken the technique and it's made it into a 12-month out of the year technique instead of just pre-spawn. And there's just such a huge difference between the old school Rebel, Spoonbill Minnow, and the Megabass line of jerkbaits. Just everything from just the balancing system in it to all the components, the profiles, the colors, the action, how the bait works in the water. It's just like, this is like, you know, the Model T here versus, you know, the Ferrari or the Mercedes of jerkbaits. So anyway, that evolution has taken place over the last 45 years or so. So you've got a lure category that, you know, has stood the test of the time, you know, and been improved with bait technology. And like I said, there's no telling what's going to come on down the line in the future, but, you know, I'm confident Megabass will be at the leading edge of that technology when it comes about. So anyway, that's just an example. You know, old Spoonbill Rebel, Smithwick Rogue, Megabass 110. It's a pretty cool story for those of us fortunate enough to have been there, you know, the whole time, you know, and seen it progress to where it's at right now. So anyway, hope you're having a good day, and like I said, appreciate all the subscribers to my channel that have been hanging in there and watching my videos. And feel free, like I said, to comment. You know, if you got an idea what you want me to do some tips on, let me know. I've got some that I've got to get caught up on from, you know, some of the subscribers, and I'll just keep working at it. So see y'all later.